everyone, it's Justin again. Now, we've learned a lot of different ways of calculating probability in this unit. And these are all great, but these are all theoretical. What about real probability of things that happen in real life? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you what I mean by that, as well as give you some instructions for the activity that goes with this lesson. Let's get into it. So, we have learned a lot of different ways of calculating theoretical probability so far. Theoretical probability is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's the expected probability of some event in theory, without doing any experimenting to actually check. This can be calculated without doing any experiments. On the other hand, we have experimental probability, which is the probability that we get when we collect data from conducting an actual real-life experiment. The interesting thing about experimental probability versus theoretical probability is that those two probabilities won't necessarily match each other. Here's an example. What is the probability that if I rolled a six-sided die, I would get a 4? If you said 1/6, you're right. If I rolled a six-sided die, I would expect to get a 4 1 out of every 6 times I rolled. That's the theoretical probability of rolling a 4. But I actually did my own dice rolling a few minutes ago. In my experiment, I rolled a six-sided die 10 times, and I only rolled a 4 one of those times. The 10 in the denominator here means the amount of times I tried the experiment, I rolled the die, and the 1 in the numerator represents the amount of times I got the desired outcome, a 4. This is my experimental probability, 1/10, and it definitely doesn't equal 1/6. Another interesting difference between theoretical and experimental probability is that experimental probabilities, well, you're probably not going to get one right answer. When I tried my experiment, I got an experimental probability of 1 out of 10. But I asked my friend Marie to do her own experiment, and she rolled a die 5 times and rolled a 4 2 out of those 5 times. Her experimental probability was 2/5, which is totally different than mine, and that's totally okay. What's even more interesting is that neither of ours matched the theoretical probability. If we plot the theoretical probability on a number line and the experimental probability that I got, along with the experimental probability that Marie got, we can compare them more easily. It looks like one experimental probability trial was below the theoretical probability, and one was pretty far above it. This can happen with experimental probabilities. They won't always match what it should be in theory. In your PDF, there will be an activity for you to complete, where you'll get to conduct your own experiments and then compare the experimental probabilities that you get with the theoretical probabilities for those things. Once you get most of the way through your activity, there will be a prompt for you to watch the next video in this lesson. In that video, I'm going to teach you about one more important concept known as the law of large numbers. So be sure to watch that video after you've completed all of your experiments so that you get the information you need to complete your activity. All right, that's it for me. Have fun with your activity, and I will see you again very soon.